Ever had champagne and thought this could really use a little stout? No? Yeah, me neither. But today we're making an interesting cocktail. Allow me to introduce you to the mysterious, classy rebel of the cocktail world, the Black Velvet. It's smooth, dark, and way tastier than it looks. In this video, we're making the Black Velvet drink directly from Shaken, the official cocktail book of Ian Fleming and James Bond. We'll dive into the surprisingly royal origin of this unusual mix, how it found its way into the world of 007, and of course, I'll show you how to make one yourself the proper gentleman's way. Whether you're dressing up for the night or just want something bold in your glass, this drink has character. So grab your finest champagne flute, and let's see how this unlikely combo came to be. The Black Velvet is a quintessentially British cocktail that looks like it was made for a tuxedo and a raised eyebrow. But believe it or not, it's a stylish drink that was actually born out of mourning. Let's rewind to 1861, when Prince Albert, husband to Queen Victoria, passed away, and in true Victorian fashion, the nation slipped into a black-clad way of grief. At the Brooks Club in London, yes, that Brooks, one of the most exclusive gentlemen's clubs in the world, which I actually just did a video on, and I'll link in the description. At Brooks, a bartender decided to dress the champagne in black by mixing it with a stout, and thus the Black Velvet was born, a drink of respect with a little rebellion mixed in. Now fast forward a century or so, and guess who's drinking it with his usual flair? Yes, James Bond. Black Velvet makes a smooth entrance in Ian Fleming's Diamonds Are Forever. In the book, Bond, after having just been briefed by M, offers to treat a colleague to a pint of Black Velvet and some dressed crab at Scott's, the legendary London restaurant. Over time, the Black Velvet has evolved and is no longer exclusively drank during periods of mourning. It's one of those drinks where two seemingly incongruous ingredients come together for a great effect. The drink goes quite well with oysters and seafood and has been adapted into different variations using cider, different layering techniques, or adding other ingredients. This drink isn't a flashy one, nor is it overly sweet. It doesn't try to impress, but that's exactly why it does. It's shown up at events, cocktail lounges, and dive bars trying to be fancy. It's part champagne and part stout, a little posh and a little punk. And now it's time you learn to make one the right way. Making a Black Velvet is almost insultingly simple, but like all things that look easy, it's about doing it right. The original recipe calls for only 2 ingredients, but as we're making one from the James Bond cocktail book, the book calls for a special 3rd ingredient. So the ingredients that you need in order to make this cocktail the right way are: first, you need a chilled champagne. The book doesn't recommend a specific one, even though we all know James Bond usually drinks Bollinger. For my research online, preference is for a champagne that is dry, crisp, and a brut, as opposed to a sweet and sugary option. So for the champagne, I'll be using this one. It's Victoire, it's a brut. The second ingredient that you'll need is a stout. Traditionally, a Guinness is used, and the book recommends a Guinness draft. So that's the one that I'll be using. And the third and special ingredient is rich Demerara syrup, which I've already made off camera before this video. But if you don't have any at home and you'd like to make some, you just need to go to the grocery store and pick up some Demerara sugar, like this right here. And then you're going to add it to a saucepan with water at a 2-to-1 ratio, water to sugar, and then stir until the sugar has dissolved. And then it should look something like this. So it's a thicker consistency and it's a very sweet syrup. Now for the glassware. You'll want a champagne flute, not just because it looks classy, but because it keeps the bubbles alive and lets the layering really shine. Presentation matters, gents. Now here's where things get fun, the pour. Some recipes will call for the champagne to be added first so that it's on the bottom and then the Guinness on top at a 1-to-1 ratio, but ours is going to be reversed. So the Guinness will be on the bottom with the champagne on top, and instead of using a 1-to-1 ratio, we'll be doing a 3-to-1 ratio of champagne to Guinness. So let's begin. First, we're going to add our rich Demerara syrup. Now the book calls for 2 teaspoons. So we'll add that, 1 and 2. Okay. Once the syrup's added, we now have to add our stout. And keep in mind, it's going to be a 3-to-1 ratio, so we'll just have to keep that in mind as we're adding this. Okay, and last up we have our champagne. We want to be very careful when we add this because we don't want it to frothing over. So I have this spoon right here that I'm going to use. We'll flip it upside down and then we'll pour the champagne on top to ensure that it doesn't froth over. Patience is key. And there you have it, the black velvet drink, just like James Bond would make it. This stunning two-tone drink looks like it belongs at a funeral or a poker table. No garnish, no ice, just elegance in a glass. So let's try it. Cheers. That's certainly a unique taste. There's a contrast in flavors here. You have the rich malty flavor of the stout and the bite of the champagne. And you have creamy meets crisp. I like it. It's definitely better than I thought it was going to taste, I'm not going to lie. For me personally, I would say like a 6 out of 10. So now all of you know the unique history of this drink and how to make one for next time friends come over. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like as it helps out the channel, and subscribe if you like drink making videos. Let me know in the comments below if you would try a black velvet. Thanks everyone for watching. Cheers.